right, well, St. Peter's College is celebrating its 125th anniversary and developing an oral video history project. Today is August 12th, 1997. My name is Eileen Poyani, Executive Assistant to the President of St. Peter's College and Professor of Mathematics. I am very pleased to host this historical reflection of St. Peter's with a very, very special guest, Reverend Joseph M. Doyle, alumnus and special friend of St. Peter's College. We are delighted to welcome you today, Father. And for the purposes of this publication, would you please give us your name and a little introduction?
So I, again, as Eileen so well said, Father Joseph M. for Michael Doyle, class 34 of the reopened College of Alma Mater, St. Peter's. And thank God the college did reopen. If it had not, a few of us, after Peter's Prep, would have day hopped to Fordham University, continuing our priceless Jesuit training, the best in the whole world when it comes to education. And it is a joy to be back, to reminisce after these many years on the beginnings of a college, unending, never to close again, for we are the peacocks, and the peacock, of course, symbol of immortality in church liturgy. The college has done so well. I find it a priceless addition to my priesthood in the Archdiocese of Newark, where I have served, I say with a deep breath, 57 years, happy to do God's work with a background of Jesuit education. It has been a privilege to come back, as I have many times, to see Alma Mater grow, and expand.
Father, we're so delighted to have you with us today, to travel an interesting road from the early days when you became a member of the St. Peter's College, and before that, the St. Peter's Prep family, as you so beautifully have mentioned. In 1999, which is not many years away, you will be celebrating your 65th anniversary of a commencement from St. Peter's College. Today, we look forward to talking about your legendary career as a priest and as a very proud peacock. Could you tell us a little bit about those very early beginnings? I know your Jersey City roots, a little bit about your family and the reasons that you were lured to come to St. Peter's College.
Well, first of all, our beloved Mama, came from Galway, Ireland, came to America for a better life. And she met Mike Doyle, destined to be a police lieutenant, so appointed by Frank Hague of memory in Jersey City history. And from that happy union, Mama Katie, Papa Mike, there were 4 children. Catherine, who the oldest, became a secretary at St. Paul's, our home parish. And then there was Mary, Sister Margaret Josephine, Newburgh Dominicans, who taught us so very well. And St. Paul's Grammar School had the Dominicans even to the number of 30 at one time, where now there is just one. A superior changes, lack of feminine vocations to sisterhood. Then there was Margaret, whom we loved to call Pearl, nicknamed Pearlie, Doyle, by many of the youngsters she taught at 20 School on Danforth Avenue. Then came the baby in the family, if you will, yours truly, and lived to be a happy graduate of Alma Mater St. Peter's Prep and College. nicknamed Joe or Barney. Now, some ask me yet, what's this nickname Barney? Well, it seems in the history of Jersey City, there was, back in Haig's day, a man named Barney Doyle, who became head of weights and measures. And it's from that happy name that I have been nicknamed Barney.
I wondered about that nickname. That's great. That's an interesting Jersey City story.
Thank God for the Jersey City roots, and thank God again for Jesuit training after Newburgh Dominicans at St. Paul's Grammar School. From 30 nuns, now just one Dominican nun. God's will, may there be a change. We need vocations. The Archbishop insists we talk up vocations, priesthood, sisterhood, brotherhood. We try to do it every chance. And this is a moment when we can say again, we hope future graduates of Alma Mater might think of priesthood, sisterhood, brotherhood, so needed in Mother Church's continuing great work, especially those trained by Jesuits.
Father, when you made that transition from St. Peter's Prep to St. Peter's College, can you reflect a little on what those first few days as a freshman were like, and some of your memories of how the students were dressed and what the campus looked like in those days?
Well, first of all, we did not have to travel too far in the urban setting of St. Peter's. We'd hop a trolley car on Ocean Avenue out in Greenville, ride the trolley down to Grand Street, and from there on, first the prep, then of course, eventually, for the first year or two, the college, before the college moved to the boulevard, so beautifully located on the boulevard at Montgomery Street. Treasured memories. So treasured are the memories. How did we dress, some ask. We did wear Bermuda shorts at times. We wore knickers. Remember those days of knickers? And we did generally, requested by the faculty, wear neckties, jackets, if we could afford both in those early days. Usually the jacket would come from a shop on Newark Avenue, such as Bernstein's, where people would come for good bargains in clothing for men and boys and college students.
Did you tell me that it was your parish priest that first encouraged you to make that trek up to St. Peter's College? That it was it your pastor who encouraged you to think about St. Peter's as the school of choice?
The choice of schools. Thank God for Jesuit education, so well put, to give us students a full picture of life. Mens sana, in corpore sano, to recall our Latin of other years. The Jesuit education certainly was enriching in every way. It made us the full person. Boys only at that time. Girls would have come much later and enriched the college, as they have added so much of latter years. But in our first days, well-dressed, hop in a trolley, pack our own lunch, although we could go around the corner to Newark Avenue for a 7-cent sandwich and some lukewarm soup at Dortmund's cafeteria restaurant. Those days were spent listening to the brilliance of such educators as our $1 million faculty. Father Gannon himself as dean, Father Devereaux, FX, Francis Xavier Devereaux, S.J., as we remember his brilliance. And then we had Father Holman, we had Father Smith, we had as well two of our outstanding young scholastics, later to be priests as Jesuits, Paul Swick and William Gleason, who taught us so much and involved in athletic and other extracurricular activities, such as, you might wonder, track, basketball, no football yet. We had debating, we had glee clubbing. So we'll remember Frederick Jocelyn, can't forget that name, who taught us glee clubbing and usually would start with, "Watch me, gentlemen," as he would lead in some program. The concerts were many. And why were they many? Effort to raise funds for the reopened college of Alma Mater. And as Father Gannon and Father Joe Deneen, the first president of Reopen College, would so often say, buy a brick for the college, as we were rebuilding, yes, from ashes, as it were, to become the proud peacocks we are ever since.
Throughout your career, you've certainly made the college so proud of your achievements. I know that you were a basketball star on the team at St. Peter's when you were here and have remained one of its most loyal fans.
That's a happy thought. Star hardly, but certainly played good basketball with Bob Hanlon, an outstanding boy also from our home parish. Bob Hanlon, who was also track star. Bob, of happy memory, would have us practice under Tommy Myers to do well on the court in practice and in traveling. And if we played at Fordham, guess what? Paul Swick, Mr. Swick, S.J., would give us car fare, subway fare, and meet us up at the campus, be it Fordham, as mentioned, or Manhattan, or any other, for the college could not yet afford buses or transportation first class. We were a homebound team, traveled lightly on our own most times, but ready to show the best we could in all sports, in all activities. Yo Pavo, to put it so beautifully.
I understand you had a basketball injury at one time, and some faculty members gave you some very special cura personalis to help you along. Could you tell us a little more about that experience?
Yes, did suffer a serious fall and wound up 10 weeks in the medical center. And from there on, would I graduate on schedule, class of 34? The answer was yes, thanks to the tremendous weekend, almost extraordinary help of such teachers as Stephen O'Malley and Jocelyn, hardly adding to that program. But we did have, I'm trying to recall the name, Steve O'Malley I mentioned.
Yes, and in fact, Professor O'Malley was a faculty member here at St. Peter's when I first came to the college.
Steve O'Malley taught biology, and he did well, weekend, advising me and making sure I would graduate June 1934, aided by others on the faculty who would help, but he was the outstanding member who gave me tutoring round the clock, especially weekends.
Was Richard Nevin one of the other, was he one of the other faculty members that helped you?
I almost forgot. Richard I. Nevins, who incidentally had much to do with the alma mater.
Yes, I understand that he actually wrote the music for the alma mater, or the lyrics.
Yes, Dick Nevins did do the lyrics for Alma Mater, which I will not try to sing at this point.
Although I know you were an active member of the Glee Club, too.
And yes, the Glee clubbing, we did well with that. And it would be an effort at times simply to socialize, for boys to like to meet girls, especially at the college level. And trips would be such as Colwell College did not yet exist, but St. Elizabeth's, or Georgian Court, or Mount St. Vincent's. And we would manage somehow to arrange tuxedos, to make our appearance proper, fitting, before dancing, after singing.
Your yearbook account says that with the establishment of the Glee Club, his talents in this line reached their zenith in a blaze of linked sweetness long drawn out, in which his own voice was effectively mingled. And when the concerts were over, he carried through at Georgian Court and St. E's as a scholar and a gentleman.
Yes, we did enjoy. Many a good boy met many a lovely girl, and the beginnings of romance, which led, as we always would hope, for happy marriages in the true Christian Catholic tradition. Good scholars, good boys, good girls, mingling and enjoying life, many to be the future parents of so many who would send their sons and daughters to Alma Mater for their education.
Certainly, as you were here at St. Peter's, what were some of the particular courses that you remember as being some of your favorites, and maybe some of the ones that perhaps were less than favorite? Some of the special academic courses that you took. Do you have some memories about your favorite subjects along the way, and maybe
First
some of the
all,
classes in the core curriculum that you studied?
We can never forget the brilliant teaching of Father Thomas Bradbury Chetwood. Philosophy, of course. English under then Mr. later Father Gleason. Father Gannon himself, right there, ever ready to guide us, and in any questions available in his office. Before the college went to the boulevard, right there, quietly, Father Gannon guiding us at 1 Newark Avenue, the Chamber of Commerce building, who incidentally, Father Gannon, gave me the added privilege to remember forever. He spoke at my eventual first Mass as a priest of the Archdiocese.
What a wonderful honor. What a wonderful honor, Father Doyle.
It was a tremendous honor. Father Gannon, one of the most brilliant men any of us would ever meet, who came fresh from Cambridge to be first dean and vice president of the reopened college, and was ever ready in his office to chat, to advise, to encourage as we made our way at 1 Newark Avenue, Chamber of Commerce building, with the sound of trolley cars echoing right through every class, every moment at the college. Newark Avenue, a changed area now, certainly. No more Chamber of Commerce, for the college has gone much higher. In town, yes, and in prestige to the boulevard and Montgomery Street.
So your whole college career was on Newark Avenue in those days.
It was. We had our first year or so right down there at 1 Newark Avenue, and eventually moving to the boulevard. It became very special for all of us, a more prestigious part of town, although Jersey City is a beautiful recovering town in these days. from Frank Hague to the present mayor, Bryce Schindler, the town has come back and will do again, with the help of the college, much better in future years, with graduates who take on every phase of life, especially public life, where many have served brilliantly.
Father Doyle, what major did you select at St. Peter's in terms of your academic major? What did you select, and what developed your calling to enter the priesthood when you left St. Peter's?
Well, first of all faculty members were an inspiration, and we were guided, yes, Fidelity, membership, and other efforts geared us toward our true Christian Catholic upbringing. And after basketball injury and 10 weeks in the hospital, my mind was veering toward priesthood. And as I eventually told Father Gannon, yes, I'm thinking of priesthood, Father, but I don't want to be a teacher. And Father Gannon gave me this classic answer: good Joe, take our spirit with you to the Archdiocese. And thank God I have, for 57 years of total priesthood throughout the Archdiocese of Newark.
It's interesting, Father Doyle, that it was through the time when you were recovering from your injury that your thoughts turned to your eventual vocation, not unlike St. Ignatius and his own injury and his own transformation, if you will, into developing that band of Jesuits and of companions that would become the society eventually.
That's a very honored reference to speak of Ignatius Loyola, his injury and mine. But it did give me a spirit to take with me through 10 weeks in the medical center, and then the slow recovery, but with the help, as already indicated, of teachers who helped me to finish and graduate on schedule in 1934, June. Of course, Richard I. Nevin and Stephen O'Malley. So I could finish with such classmates as William Rombeck, who later became head librarian of Jersey City, Fred Jacks, who was another outstanding classmate, of course, connected with the college as alumni director. And I can't forget Bill Judkins, another outstanding classmate who did teach at the college later, public relations, and sang, incidentally, the Ave Maria at my first Mass in St. Paul's, the home parish, 1940, that happy event, my ordination, first Mass.
It's interesting that so many of the trustees and administrators and faculty of St. Peter's that you knew so well have since had buildings or awards named in their honor. You've mentioned Father Deneen, who was the president at the time, Father McDermott, who was the secretary of the trustees back then, Father Shalou, of course, whose building is known at the Prep, Father Johnson, after whom the faculty award is named, Father Chetwood, a member of the faculty, again Father Johnson, a librarian as well as faculty member, Mr. Nevin, Professor O'Malley, Father Rankin.
Father Rankin, Father Rush Rankin, who taught us ethics. How could we ever forget Father Rankin? And he, on one occasion, typical of Father Rankin, in the middle of a class, ethics, stopped to say to Bob Hanlon, another classmate, outstanding athlete, Hanlon, keep at it. You're doing well in track. Hope to see you do a championship at Madison Square Garden. Father Rankin was that live and dynamic and interested in watching all of us through sports programs.
And Father Shanahan, who was eventually to become a president of St. Peter's, was teaching Latin and English literature while you were a student here. Father Shanahan.
Yes, of course.
He was on the faculty. And I see Father Smith taught mathematics. I couldn't resist just noting that he was on that list as well.
Yes. And of course was in charge of debating, where we enjoyed many interesting sessions, debating on everything, as my own papa used to say, except Jersey City politics.
And that's still a topic that intrigues everyone, Jersey City politics. Father, when you graduated in 1934, of course the country was having its economic problems. Did you go directly to the seminary? What was your life as you graduated from the college?
Well, there was hardly a job available as suggested, but summer work and the help of some of the Seton Hall faculty, I did have a summer job. It was chauffeuring one of the old-time priests, and it did help me get the money which would be needed to buy cassocks and other paraphernalia for seminary life, which would begin soon enough at the Immaculate Conception Seminary, which was then stationed at Darlington, North Jersey. A lot of years, moved back to the campus at South Orange.
So you were there really when it was in the seminary was in the location that so many of us think of it being. So you entered the seminary shortly after your graduation from St. Peter's, and could you share with us a little bit about your seminary experience and some of the priests there that you might have known that maybe even had some St. Peter's connections?
We had one of the latter, 3 years later, graduates, Jim Johnson, now Monsignor James F. Johnson. He's also retired, but Jim was there carrying the Peters tradition into the territory, if you wish, quoting for joke, enemy territory of Seton Hall people. For Darlington was connected with Seton Hall, has since moved down right to the campus in South Orange. But we were rivals, Peters and Seton Hall. And on one occasion, one of the deacons, half jokingly but half anger, said, "Hey, when you leave Peters, you should forget it." And we answered, "We didn't leave Peters, we graduated. Yo Pavo."
That's wonderful. I'm sure there's a lot of wonderful anecdotes about those years and the continuing rivalry between St. Peter's and Seton Hall University. I know you're always there at those games when Seton Hall and St. Peter's are playing basketball.
Very much so. We enjoy the competition. We enjoy having been there on the first team basketball. And of course, coming back, hoping the Peacocks do it each year. As we said a few years back to George Blaney, then coach of Seton Hall, have a good year, except when you play Peters. And believe it or not, we beat Seton Hall that year by 2 points. And George Blaney accepted the defeat with dignity.
And we hope that'll happen in the future as well, don't we? Could you tell us a little about your priestly career and the various parishes in which you served over the years and the St. Anne's home here in Jersey City? If we could just kind of travel through your life as a priest.
Well, referring again to 57 years of priesthood, thank God, with the Peacock spirit and background training. First assignment, 21 years, St. Thomas the Apostle on the Parkway, Bloomfield, New Jersey. And anyone who would care to make a pilgrimage, I'm joking, but a pilgrimage, a visit to that church, you might see up front one of the windows, yours truly holding the staff confirmation window, staff of Archbishop Boland, and we have cherished and used that ever since, 50th anniversary especially. The other years of priesthood from St. Thomas, 21 years, then went on to Roselle, New Jersey, St. Joseph the Carpenter, there for 6 years, till Archbishop Boland said to me one day, "Father Joe, you're due to be a pastor. We're going to send you up to Franklin Lakes." I asked, "Where's that?" He said, "It's a very fine parish, a new parish up in Bergen County." And I was there for 10 happy years, where I did meet, incidentally, many more Peacock graduates, including my own dentist, Dr. Eugene Tolomeo. So many more up in that area knew of the value of Jesuit education, including Robert I. I'm thinking of Father Gannon. Nevins McBride, Georgetown graduate, who always admired Peters and other Jesuit schools for the fine training given, his at Georgetown, our own at Peters. And from there, we eventually did face retirement. So having served so far in 3 counties, Essex, Union, Bergen, guess what? Back to Hudson County, where I became chaplain at St. Anne's Home on Old Bergen Road for 11 years. Those were happy years, yes, tending to the elderly, and in so many ways reassuring them that God is very much in love, no matter what age, he loves us all. So many of those elderly appreciated a kind word as we made it a practice of visiting around St. Anne's Home for the aged at least once a week, every patient, and daily Mass, of course, the privilege of giving them the Eucharist every day. If not able to get to chapel, the quiet trip to their rooms to give them communion, and monthly confessions. What would an elderly person have to confess, but at least the smile, the warmth, as they listen to absolution.
You've touched thousands and thousands of lives, Father Doyle, in an extraordinary way. Your life has certainly not only touched St. Peter's, but the broader community that St. Peter's represents. And as you say, all the archdiocesan counties that are part of our territory in New Jersey. It's certainly a rich and wonderful heritage that you've left and continue to be an active part of. I don't know that there is any other person who is pictured in a stained glass window as you are, and I know I treasure my remembrance card from your Jubilee, which depicts that beautiful stained glass window.
Yes, as we enjoy, still have a few copies in my pocket from time to time. Happy
beautiful.
to give it to any stranger. You have a stained glass window? Yes, thanks to the happy decision of the then pastor at Bloomfield Parish, who said, "We're all going to be in a new church. Guess where? Stained glass windows." Mine was the happy privilege of being in the confirmation window and holding the staff of another good Jesuit product. Yes, Father Bishop Thomas A. Boland, who went to Xavier High School, and then jokingly, as we used to kid him, he went to that other school, Seton Hall. Father, then pastor, then bishop, then Archbishop Boland, enjoyed our being in the same window, as I gave him an enlarged copy, framed, and he said, "Thank you, Joe, I'll treasure this." And it was with him till the moment he died, a number of years later. He was a kind, gracious Archbishop, and much like our current Archbishop, Theodore McCarrick, a Jesuit product, for our current Archbishop, is a graduate of Fordham University and a very cherished background, he admits. We meet every so often, as we did last week, at a funeral for Father Edward Sinan, the nearest to a genius any of us would ever know, who died after a serious heart condition in Canada. And it's an interesting coincidence that Archbishop Boland, I should say in memory, Archbishop McCarrick, in fact, was there in Canada when Ed Sinan, Monsignor, head of the Medieval Institute, died. I have to tell his parents of this happy event that we share here at the college, as we wish well to so many future students, current students, to thank God for our cherished education, that the Jesuit system is the best in the world. To repeat, mens sana in corpore sano, may it continue. Hail alma mater, yo Pavo.
Father, this has been a wonderful travelogue so far, and we'd like to just take a little break and then return, because we have quite a number of other remembrances that we would like to share and chat with you about. So why don't we just take a brief break and then resume this wonderful, wonderful experience that you're making so vivid for all of us.
Can I get you anything? Some water here if you like to drink.
I
you
was
can keep
just
drinking, right in the middle of it. That's not a problem.
Oops. Oh, I'm attached.
Is it too
I'm
cold
attached to
for
me.
you?
Would you attach, Miss Payette?
No, I'm okay.
Oh,
No,
sure.
I was just getting up that. I was thinking too. You perfect timing there. And then I want to talk about the honorary degree.
Okay.
And I'm going to quote from the other. Oh, yeah, tell them that. And they asked me, say, Father, what is
How's it sounding?
It is sounding very well.
Good,
Your
good,
voice is strong.
good.
I think a little break would be up to.
it? Is it?
Yeah, I thought we just get a little
Oh,
bit of a
yeah.
break.
When
and then-
she asked you
I
what
didn't even
subjects do
stop
you
taking
like,
pictures. So
What?
she asked you what subjects were you,
His
you know,
hearing aid
mainly,
kicks in for
you
that.
were talking
It's a
about,
little background.
but
Yes.
answer
You
the
tell us what
question
you
that
need.
she
Well, just
asked.
stop us
Yeah.
if we need
Try
to.
to,
Oh, no, I'm going to let it run because
Yeah.
there's no sense in stopping for that. Not much we're going to do for it.
I'll do the pinned.
But, yes, the pins. You can zoom in on the pin. What I will do for the second half, this is do a slightly tighter shot.
Okay, great. And you have both the close and the other.
Oh, yeah.
Father, you're a real
Are you
pro.
comfortable? You want to stand
Are the
for a
questions
minute
good?
or
Is that-
then?
Questions?
This is nice.
See, I don't ever
I like
have
it, yeah.
questions other than as a verbal
Right.
of what's
Right.
happening.
Okay,
But
good.
you have a complete compendium.
We have a few more things, and you're doing great. You're a pro. He's a pro. Isn't it interesting?
You have the tape, the thing on?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and do you have it on?
Yes,
Bill?
we're running. You're rolling
I
right now.
covered it
Just have
up
to loosen
before
that so
when
you can now.
she's going to ask you about your honorary degree
Okay.
and about your pin.
So you want-
About my pen.
Yeah, different
Pin.
questions.
Your pin, and I'll have to ask you about how we became reunited. Okay.
Yeah, how you became reunited with her.
We'll do that too.
Yeah, that's nice.
So it's all
She's
falling
an
into
asset
place.
to the
beautifully.
college.
Oh, no.
Add that.
But it's all falling into place, and we have to tell about our angel.
Well, you have already introduced yourself, so
Yes.
they know it's you.
They don't
Well,
know that you married her mother and
no.
father.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll add that too.
Did I already mention that?
Well, no, not yet. I'll
I
lead you
will.
into it.
I will.
I'll lead you into that, and because I'll go back and talk about St. Thomas the Apostle. We'll start with that because you had talked about that, and I want to say something about the stained glass window. One more thing, and then we'll lead into some of the other questions. Good. That's great.
Boy, yeah.
Do you need something else to?
All said.
Are you all set, Frank?
Okay, then
Okay, so we'll just. Am I
How's
set?
it sound?
it is sounding good. Occasionally I hear your hearing aid. If you hear your hearing aid, don't be afraid to put your hand up to turn it down a little bit.
If
Oh.
you hear it
Sometimes
whistling,
when you talk, if you hear it whistling, you can turn it down a little bit. That's quite all
but be
right.
sure you have it up so you can hear.
Can you hear me? I
Yeah,
noticed a couple
surely.
of times.
Turn it up,
I'm
so
trying
you
to
can
talk
hear.
louder
Yeah,
so that
no,
I
that's-
can.
That's a great
you know,
sound
to-
very well.
Good. Does
And
it
don't be
sound
afraid
good?
to talk over her head. Sometimes you tend to come over here a little bit. You can come right to her face or just above her. It'd be
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Because it'll pick it up.
Look
even.
at the cameraman. He's an expert.
Great.
He's rooting for you too.
That's it.
I'll let Bill get.
We're fine.
Are you all set? Okay, wonderful. This has been a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to learn some beautiful stories about the college and about your experiences, Father. Let me just stop back one moment to your conversation regarding your experience at St. Thomas the Apostle Church. The wonder of your being on the confirmation window, because it reflects the fact that you have affected and will affect generation upon generation of young people throughout the Archdiocese and literally throughout the country as our young people move and travel throughout this country and throughout the world. We were reunited in a very interesting way through your connections to the Alumni Association and to our mutual passion for basketball. It's certainly been a wonderful way for my life to intertwine with yours, and maybe you'd like to comment on that just a little.
Yes, Eileen, emphatically. One of my first marriages performed at St. Thomas there in Brookdale, St. Thomas, Brookdale, and Bloomfield, was that of Hugo and Eileen Paioni. Dr. Eileen's parents, as I still love to recall when I see Eileen, I'm responsible for you, she nods. And he knew Jesuit who comes to the college. If we are talking with Eileen, I say, I'm responsible for Eileen. You are? Yes. How come? I married her parents. And she has been the happy results of that marriage. A brilliant young woman who adds so much to the college, an asset in every way to alma mater. Her own brilliant education from Douglas, if I recall correctly,
Yes, indeed.
right on here to the college. So many wonderful years, and this is spoken of by so many, especially by Jesuits who cherish her addition to alma mater, the Peacock.
Well, thank you, Father. We're very honored to have, and my parents and I are very honored to have had you officiate at their wedding and to also officiate when they renewed their vows 50 years later in 1991. Really extraordinary. You've remained very active in the Alumni Association all these years, being an important person by bringing your presence to so many alumni events. It's also very rare for an alumnus to also receive an honorary degree from their alma mater, so we
Yes.
congratulate you on that.
I was really awed. I was overwhelmed when one day Father Degnan got in touch with me. And Father Degnan, of course, one of our former presidents, who said so well in a letter, we're considering and we've pushed for it for some time to give you an honorary degree. We have it, and if you would respond yes, we'll arrange it for the coming graduation. And so it was in 1991.
91.
I was honored, and it was truly a moment for which I could deeply appreciate. And if my parents had been alive, they too would have enjoyed that moment of added peacock glory, as one of my sisters did. Pearl by name, of course, Margaret, we nicknamed Pearl. Our other sisters were already deceased. But thank God for alma mater appreciating whatever I have tried to do for the college. And I continue my spirit of loyalty, loyal ever and ever. Like John Tracy Murphy, another classmate, able to come to games as much as we can, able to support every activity in any way we can, not over looking the financial aid possible needed for the college is still expanding and so growing here in Jersey City. May it continue that growth with the current mayor ever supporting alma mater. For the new mayor, Brett Schindler, certainly appreciates Jesuits' presence in Jersey City. He showed at the recent Mass and outdoor barbecue at the campus as we continue to celebrate 125 years of Jesuits in this area in Jersey City, having come, of course, the river from little old New York downtown to 144 Grant Street, and from there eventually expanding to the boulevard. Happy memories, and the new mayor enjoys any chatting as we share it with him from time to time.
Father, I see you have a beautiful peacock pin on. Could you tell us a little bit about that pin?
The peacock pin in our label, of course. 50 years out of the college, you got the golden peacock, and it's a treasured item. I enjoy wearing this, especially if I visit Seton Hall in the local friendly rivalry, to have some of the Setonians look at this peacock and ask, "What's that?" And we bow, and they bow in return with a good sense of humor. As we say, yes, 50 years out of the college, you get the golden peacock, and there are so many of them in circulation. We know many wear it as proudly as I do, reminding people wherever, however, we are Yo Pavo, proud peacocks.
It's a beautiful pin, and did you remember, were there peacocks actually on campus, live peacocks, when you were a student? Were there live peacocks on the campus when you were a student, or did that follow?
Oh, gee, shortly after our time, we at least came back to see a live peacock on the campus. That's not too clear in my mind, but I remember it strutting somewheres along the boulevard on special occasions. And a happy addition, neighbors all watching as a peacock would strut in its very proud way, happy to be part of the scene, happy to be part of Jersey City. Live peacock, what else could we have as a better reminder that the reopened college is live and very much awake to this city and its needs, and to the entire area, and as already suggested, graduates throughout the country, actually throughout the world.
Father Doyle, when you were here, of course the class was composed of all young men, and it wasn't until 1966 that young women joined the day session, although there were some women in the evening, Hudson College, and during the war, the nurses that were on campus in the 40s. There was a mixture of opinion about whether or not St. Peter's should become co-ed. What were your thoughts about that?
My thoughts, thank God for the women who have been part of the college, as Eileen suggests, since 1966.
Right.
They've added so much to the college: brilliance, refinement, gentility, and of course, womenfolk who know well the need for a balanced education. Yes, they have been so much a part of the college. In our days, it was not quite that. They were present only at a glee club concert, at a prom, at a dance, a peacock ball, and of course, watching us from the stands in any sporting event, such as basketball, again, where we used to play in the old Oakland Arena, our first few games, before we had the beautiful new buildings especially now Yanatelli Center, where competition is so tremendous, and where, of course, it's a good follow-up on the armory, which was used for a number of years under the amazing ability of Don Kennedy, who did coach brilliantly, and some great athletes came from his training. Yo Pavo again to the sporting world. Peacocks are doing well. We hope to do again much better in coming years, especially in our rivalry with Seton Hall.
You mentioned the Armory and various locations for different games. Where was your graduation ceremony held?
Oh, very good question. Our graduation was actually up here on the boulevard. The college was just about building its programming, and we were able at least to graduate at the boulevard level. And it was on that occasion that Father Gannon said so well the brilliance that he hoped from the graduates, such classmates as Bill Rombeck already mentioned, John Tracy Murphy, John Smith, so many more, Bill Judkins, all who were loyal classmates and became close friends forever, not forgetting Fred Jacks, who did a lot for the college as well.
Father, I find it so interesting to read in your yearbook tribute something that certainly captures the spirit that you have for the college and for all the wonderful career accomplishments that you have had. And just let me read it. Whenever he is about, anything may happen. He is crammed full of ideals and the most original difficulties. But no matter what he engages in, whether it is a well-placed question in ethics or a deeper problem in the activities room, he carries on with great form and urbanity and not a little twinkling of the eyes.
That write-up, incidentally, I cherish, done by Arthur Beach, another classmate. He was in his own way brilliant, since deceased many years. Arthur Beach, good memory of Arthur. And of course, as we look at the yearbook in retrospect, we do appreciate so much of what went into it and how from the very beginnings it was quite a cherished project, all of us sharing, but especially those who did supervise the first peacock pie, Fred Jacks, Bill Ronbeck, Ralph Rio, also deceased now, and Bill Judkins. It was a choice and joyful gathering of everything we could put together for a yearbook that would go on through the years as number one peacock pie of happy memory. My copy is safe and secure. If God calls me anytime, he'll tell me, give it to the college, and I will do it with joy. Part of the memorabilia of education that is the finest. Yo Pavo, alma mater, St. Peter's.
It's beautiful. I think we'll take just a little break now and then think of just a few other items that you might like to add that perhaps we haven't covered in the course of these questions. So I think we'll take just a little break now and proceed very shortly. But it might be good to get another little break in. And I hear that hearing aid.
Yeah.
How's
That-
it doing?
you know, if you'd like us to, Bill, repeat anything because of that
I don't think we're going to use
interference.
it that long, and if we repeat it, we're not going to do it. If the hearing aid was once again coming back
And
in
I
a
didn't know
couple
if I
of
should have
times.
stopped there. Should I have?
Not a question of stopping, no, because it's not that distracting that
No,
it
you
couldn't
sure?
be.
Okay, because I knew you would
No,
tell
it's
me.
not that
You would have come
No,
to
it's
say
not that
something. Right.
distracting.
Okay.
That would be fun. But what I'm going to do is take a picture of you while you're here too,
That's
because
nice.
The other thought had been that where we might use this would be the alumni magazine, some of the transcript of the story. And it's always nice to have a picture of the person who's doing the words, but extracting it from videotape was not easy.
Also, Father,
Should we take the mic off here? Let's take
No,
this
it's
off.
all right.
You want to leave that on?
Well, I think you'll be all right, yeah. You won't even see it. But go ahead. No, I
Jeez.
just want to say, get a picture that way. Yes. All right. I'm going to take another from the other side. So just,
Yeah.
You haven't hit on
that's good. I'm going to take one slightly wider one. Okay. Smile. All right.
You do well here.
Well, we do a little bit of
Good
everything.
work.
Can I block you with some light there for a second? It's an awful lot of light, I know, and I apologize, but it's the only way we can get a good picture. And what I tell you is keep looking at Eileen. She's a much nicer thing to look at than the lights. A pretty being she be.
That's good. That's good.
But is it possible to turn your hearing aid down a little bit, or to push it in further? Maybe your hearing aid just needs to be pushed into the ear canal a little more. Because I was hearing it again, and often it's because it doesn't get pushed all the way in. But that's fine now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I didn't realize that you were wearing two, but okay, that could have been it. Maybe we didn't turn one of them down a little bit. That's what happened.
Fire chaplains, that was supposed to.
But it's still okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then I think we'll be all right.
Can you hear him, Father? Well, he's
Yes, surely. Yeah.
Do you have difficulty hearing Eileen?
Yes.
Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you.
Okay, good, good.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Excuse me, Father, she's going to ask you about you forgot about the widowers for Essex, Union, Bergen, and Hudson counties, moderator, and also fire chaplain of
Franklin Lakes.
I thought I would introduce it by saying I know you've worn many hats over the years, and among them the moderator. But you'll have to repeat those so that they'll have that.
So,
anything else that you want to tell
Boy
us?
Scout.
Oh, Boy Scouts too. I don't.
But you'll have to repeat them, of course. I'll allude to them just to remind you. But then,
Yes.
and then
And
you
you'll
can
say
pick up.
you'll say Hudson, Essex, Bergen, Union
Well,
County.
the odds say Assassin.
Right.
All right,
Jason,
let's say
And the
Assassin.
fire chaplain, the boy, and then you could add any other
Boy
of your many
Scouts.
hats that you've worn.
Right,
Yeah.
and the Boy Scouts.
Anything that comes to mind.
Anything, and
just
then
tell us. Surprise us.
and then why don't I leave you to kind of add whatever it is you'd
Yes,
like
no,
to
that's
add?
the
You know, I
best.
think that was what I was going to
Yeah.
let you ramble on any other. I mean, you've done such a beautiful job. But if there's other things that you'd want to say, that
Special
you know,
stories
just
about people,
special
stories about
anecdote,
yourself.
special story about yourself.
Did
your
I tell you
faculty.
the story about? Is a great way to lead.
Yeah.
to
And did I ever
something.
tell you a story on my mother hit me with the mop when I was not studying?
Now there's a story.
That's something good.
Oh, that's a story.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Yeah,
a good
anything like
mama.
that.
So then we'll have those stories, and
Papa.
we'll lead into any stories that he wants to tell us. You know.
And
Yeah.
Papa. What?
Papa, give me back the car keys.
Right.
Oh.
Okay.
Right.
I had it
He
without
was late.
permission,
He
the
took
car.
without
Oh.
permission.
Guess what?
Yeah.
The next time I was given the car keys, drive some nuns to Newburgh.
That was your penance.
Yeah, now these are cute
Okay.
stories
These
at
are
the
good
end.
ones, right.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. We kind of
Yeah.
get then down to the.
At the
And I
end.
want to be sure we get in the key things,
Right.
Terry. If there's anything else, you know.
I said, I know. I used to drive him to the widowers. That's how.
I remember that.
Yeah.
yes.
Widowers, Boy Scouts,
Fire chaplain, Boy Scouts. So we'll talk about many hats that you wore.
Legion of Decency
Oh my
while
goodness, I
it
haven't heard that
lasted.
mentioned in years. huh?
Yeah.
Oh, fine. Well, all those you can just talk about them and bring them into the conversation. That's wonderful.
And you forgot to add that Eileen's mom has a nice pair of legs. You
Oh,
told
no.
the last time. You put that on the tape.
She take after her daughter, or the other way
Yeah,
around?
no, the daughter.
I think you said the three of
That's
us.
what Father
You
said.
said the three of
The
us.
father said, you better remember that. Say, oh, Eileen, I forgot to mention, your mother has a good pair of legs like yourself.
And Terry,
Oh,
too.
no, don't put me in the tape.
I can work that
We
in.
need Terry in the tape somewhere. We need Terry in the tape someplace.
Okay, good.
I'm his adopted sister.
There you go.
I'm your adopted
She's
sister.
all these sister number 4. Sister number 4, right? Angel.
This is the angel.
You had a sister, right? He had a sister, and then he had the 2 sisters, and now he's got an angel sister. How about that? Boy,
That is good. That's good.
He'll tell you about my carry tots and everything. A daily communicant.
Oh, wow, okay. Good, well, we're going to, let me just put this.
Ho, ho.
Oh, tell me where this should go now. I forget. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right in the range of your voice.
Well, it's, no, is that all right, Robert?
That's fine.
Huh? Okay?
It's fine.
You tell me, all right. And
Believe
it's,
me, if he couldn't hear you, he would come
he'll
out.
tell me, right? Well, we're very fortunate to have Robert and Bill helping us today in this interesting taping, Father, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. Over the years, you have worn so many hats in so many wonderful service roles and contributions to the Archdiocese and to your college, alma mater. Would you tell us a little bit about those many moderatorships and chaplainships that you've held?
Well, Eileen, of course, as a young priest, and then other years after, many involvements. And we are concerned, as always, with the condition of Hollywood and the movie world. So I had been part of the Legion of Decency, where we used to check, believe it or not, what shops was selling and what movie houses were producing. And picketing, believe it or not, a couple of the theaters at Journal Square, whenever they were showing questionable movies. Legion of Decency, now unfortunately of happy memory, but it's needed again. And of course, we add other activities. The Widower program, which I did have as supervisor under my many hats. It was taking care of archdiocesan level, Bergen County, Union, Hudson, and Essex, widower program, doing God's work for the elderly and sometimes not the very elderly, for many were young, widowed men and women who were happy for the chance to circulate with those who had also reached a tragic end of life. We also had much to do with the Boy Scouts, and that was a happy assignment, bringing to mind another one of the college professors, now retired. I, for the moment, can't think of his name. One of the buildings named after him. He's on
the campus.
Yes.
One of our buildings, Father Deneen?
It's next to the alumni house.
Pat Caulfield?
Pat Caulfield.
Dr. Patrick Caulfield in the education department.
Oh, Pat, we did
A
work
legend
with
also.
Pat for many years in Boy Scouting work. He did well, aided by his wife, who used to supervise Cubs. But again, extra activities at the campus. It was a pleasure always to reflect Jesuit education. And whenever we dealt with these youngsters, to think of their vocations possibly to priesthood, sisterhood, brotherhood, so needed then and more than ever now in a world that so needs God. We add other activities, preparing youngsters for First Communion, for confirmation, always part of parochial work, and the happy moment of getting youngsters ready to serve Mass as we were trained out in Greenville by another good padre, Father Coughlin, who did later himself become a Jesuit. Father Coughlin, who did become not only a Jesuit, but back here to the college, where he was dean of the evening division for some time. I remember that now in retrospect. He taught us to be altar boys, and Tim Coughlin by nickname, and a great Jesuit also, waited till his parents had died, that he did what he had long wished to do, become another son of Ignatius Loyola. He did serve so very well as a curate in our parish and later as a Jesuit, Hudson Division of the college.
Wonderful. And did you mention your fire captain when you were a fire chaplain? You were a fire chaplain?
Fire chaplain
In
Franklin Lakes, where we did often attend fires with another Peacock graduate, Father Dave, can't recall his name, who was one of a large family of Jesuit products. Dave, can't think of his name, it's not that important at the moment, but he is also retired. And he was a loyal Peacock. Often saw him at ball games, basketball especially, with his lovely wife, whom I used to look in on, bring communion to her mother up in Franklin Lakes, elderly, beloved mama of a large family.
Father, we know that you have a fourth sister. We know that you have a fourth sister.
Oh yes,
Special
as
sister
Eileen
angel.
says, in a sense, a fourth sister. Terry Lawden, here with us today, who has been God's gift to me in my most recent illness, which was an aneurysm, well taken care of by a dedicated Jewish surgeon at Beth Israel in Newark. And Terry has seen me back to health every day ever since at her quiet home down at the Jersey Shore. Terry Lawden, as Eileen says, another angel like herself.
Father, I'm sure you have countless stories and anecdotes that you could tell us about every phase of your wonderful career and your priestly life. Could you share a few of those special stories with us from the time you were growing up on through?
Pearsall Avenue.
Oh.
Good anecdotes. Papa, on one occasion, police was hearing the rumor he would be made lieutenant. This is a very confidential, enjoyable Jersey City item. Papa asked to see Frank Hague, then mayor. Papa was ushered in to see Hague. The mayor had probably asked, what's his name? Oh, Mike Doyle, you're going to be made lieutenant. All I ask, keep paying the 3% every year. And if anyone asks for anything else, you come and tell me. Our current mayor knows that story. I told it to him here at the college as we honored St. Ignatius Loyola as part of the follow-up on 125 years of Jesuit education in Jersey City. Other anecdotes. My sister Mary, Margaret Josephine by religious name, was a very definite tomboy type before the convent, and she kept pigeons. On one occasion, someone was trying to steal one of her pigeons from the backyard. This is way back when we were youngsters. And she threw a brick. And it was a neighbor, later to be Judge Gus Heckman, who said, Joe, if your sister Mary hit that kid, she would not be a nun. She would have been a homicide.
Oh my.
He enjoys hearing that joke yet, for I see Gus Heckman very often. He is down the shore for the summer with Terry Lawden as a nearby neighbor. We reminisce a lot, especially of Jersey City. We reminisce about St. Peter's College, for Gus Heckman has ever been a definite Protestant. He loves the kid, a Lutheran with vigor, talks about the college, and his own son, Bernard, is a graduate of very recent years. Gus Heckman, Judge, Supreme Court of New Jersey. He was truly a credit to his profession, and he remembers well the beginnings of the reopened college, and he's been here at the college for many occasions. He was honored with the Petrian Medal himself for having brought one of the guest speakers, Malcolm Forbes, who did a few years ago speak here at the college. We hope Malcolm gave a good donation. That's off the record.
Yeah, I'm sure you have many fond memories of your mother and father and many stories about your growing up years. Would you like to add some of those to this, Father?
Some of the
stories about your mother and father and your growing up years and any of those experiences?
Well, first of all,
how they influenced you also.
Having come through Ellis Island, we hope someday, as we would, as a memory of Mama and so many more who came through Ellis Island, to help this city grow and to help the college, for how many have backgrounds, Ellis Island parents from Ireland, Germany, Poland, other countries who have come to this part of the world through Ellis Island. And we hope one day to have a yearly mass at Ellis Island commemorating all who came through to make our city, our nation, part of the great part of the world. We are thankful for our parents who made the sacrifice to send us to Peters College after the prep, for it was not easy in the days when salaries were not too good, but the college prospered with those who would, as Father Deneen, to repeat, would say, buy a brick. And they did help in any way they could. Thankful for the advice given by Jesuits to their sons and later their daughters. And it was the advice given by Father Deneen and Father Tim Coughlin, later a Jesuit, as I mentioned, who advised me in my decision, if I didn't want to be a teacher, but a priest, to take my spirit to the Archdiocese, and I have for these 57 years to repeat. And I told that story to the Archbishop, and he appreciated hearing the good word, especially of Father Gannon and other Jesuit greats who were part of our growing up, part of our maturing, part of our lifestyle. Thank God. Again, I inject Yo Pavo, Alma Mater, St. Peter's.
Father, you talked about the discipline and the sacrifice that your parents made to allow you to come to St. Peter's. What about some of the discipline that they meted out to their children as they were growing up?
Discipline, you shaped up or shipped out. We were told, do it this way. For example, when we were disciplined by one of the Dominican nuns, as one sister, Amy, of happy memory, one day in her quiet anger, I say, ripped my shirt and told me she was sorry. But Mama later said, glad she did it. Do it again, sister, if he needs it. Good discipline in the classroom, good discipline at home. And we were told, do what sister says. And if it's a mistake made, it's you who made the mistake, not sister. How often we heard that, as many Dominican nuns, oh, so many of them who taught us, now rest with God, up there in Newburgh in the cemetery, including our own sister, who was incidentally nicknamed, a very interesting nickname, Maggie Joe, for her marriage. Her religious name was Margaret Josephine, and it was a nearby pastor in Bayonne, Monsignor Eddie, Bujak, who said, "Your sister taught us in Passaic. She was a good teacher, and we were the ones who nicknamed her Maggie Joe." Good remembrance of a beloved nun, like so many more, and how she appreciated what the Jesuits and Dominicans helped do for her kid brother to make us better citizens, better Christians, better Catholics, and one day, God willing, as it turned out, better priests.
Father, if you were going to give advice to the current St. Peter's College students, what advice would you give them?
I would suggest for the college that we attempt, and this the college kids can laugh at, some kind of a dress code to look a little more civilized, to use the word, and a little more mature. No need for dress code, I guess. But actually, we were told, and I think it was a good reflection on the college, wherever we travel, wherever the youngsters today go, the students, to look part of college, to show with dignity they do love Jesuit training. Dress code, not basically needed, but it's a good addition. The college also might try to stress more of religious devotion, whatever the faith, whatever church, religion, to practice it with vigor, with dignity, with full love of Almighty God, as we say so well, to have religion part of our lives, and every graduate of the college to gain from the Jesuits, as we did, a love of our being Christians or Muslims today or Jewish belief, whatever Protestant denomination, to practice it well and to be proud children of Almighty God. That's an off-the-record brief homily, a sermon.
It's a wonderful, wonderful bit of advice. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Father, to this wonderful, rich legacy that you're giving St. Peter's and that we hope to share with future generations of students?
I would say it's certainly a happy thought that the college is growing and that we are more and more attracting youngsters, students from all areas of life, from all racial backgrounds, from all different races, that we know with college is giving them God's best education in a troubled world. And we know that youngsters coming here leave, as we did, enriched to become better citizens, better public figures, many of them, and boys and girls alike, to enter happy marriages blessed by Almighty God, as the college has blessed us. Again, we love to add the O Pavo, Hail Alma Mater, Deathless St. Peter's.
Oh, Father, that's so beautiful. And Father Joseph Michael Doyle, you are one of our most distinguished jubilarians, alumnus, person who has been a beloved priest and pastor through all these many years, and a wonderful friend to thousands of people in all walks of life. We are proud as a peacock to have you as one of our graduates, and we thank you for the generosity of time that you have given us in this wonderfully enriching interview. We thank you so much for being with us today, Father.
Thank you, Eileen.
Now, if there's anything else,
you were going to tell them about the driving, the discipline, how your father took the keys from you.
Well,
that's good discipline.
Well,
do you want to add that? We can add it now.
Yeah.
By all means, why don't you tell us a little bit about
the discipline.
I thought you were going for your car.
Some of the discipline that you received when your father took the keys away from you.
oh.
And also with your mother for you to study. That's good discipline, and it's funny.
Well,
we can add that. We can add that to sure.
Well, as a footnote, Eileen, we can add with Terry giving advice on some of the footnotes of discipline. On one occasion, college boy, boys know girls and like girls. We did so well in those days. I borrowed the car, the family car, without permission. Papa later said, humbug. It was the worst language he ever used. Give me the car keys. They were taken. I was grounded, never to drive again until one day some Newburgh nuns had to be taken to Newburgh. I was given the car keys. Drive the nuns to Newburgh. Yes, Papa. Thank you, Papa. And Mama, on another occasion, discovering that I was a little rambunctious and not behaving properly, in her little Irish anger, took the mop and aimed the mop at me. I dropped to the floor in the kitchen very dramatically. And Mama said, get up, you're not going to die. I thank God she gave me, as Papa did, an appreciation of discipline needed by all of our youngsters. Wherever you work that in.
We can. That's wonderful. That's a nice
Well,
ending.
just an
too.
extract, we'll have that anyhow.
That's nice.
What do you do with that footnote? Do you work it in?
We'll
Well-
see what context it
Under
might be used
discipline.
in, but certainly we'll leave it intact. I'd like to send you a copy of the tape, and even unedited, it'll at least.
Oh,
know
God
what you-
bless.
Kind of the raw
Beautiful.
footage of it.
Yeah,
Would be
the
wonderful.
raw footage that we'll
That
do.
Father could have.
Just a minute, don't you think you should mention Father Lochran? The present president?
Well, gee,
I think you should mention him.
Well, that's right.
well,
Yeah,
If you want to,
some-
fine. If you
Oh,
don't,
something
gee,
to
I-
mention with Father Lochran, the new president.
Or
you
the
wish him-
more recent presidents, if you have anything to say, Father
Some-
Yanatelli, Father Glynn,
Yeah,
Father
something
Degnan,
about
Father-
the recent president, Father Lochran,
Father,
Father Yanatelli.
do you have any stories? You talked about Father Degnan when he
Right.
gave you a letter, but did you know either Father Glenn or Father Yanatelli?
Father Glynn, you knew Father Glynn.
Did you have any stories about meeting
And
with
Father
them?
Yanatelli,
oh,
Father Lochran. You know,
Father Lochran.
oh, Lachlan, yes.
they would be the three most. As you said, he mentioned Father Degnan.
Yes.
The
If
the
nothing comes to
Yanatelli,
mind,
the
that's
Glynn,
okay,
and
too.
the
Well, trying to,
Lochran. You know, if there's anything.
Yeah, the
that's-
present president
yeah, well,
doing a wonderful job, continuing
yeah.
continuing the
Well,
wonderful,
let me get the
tradition.
thoughts right.
continuing
Okay,
the
yeah, take
tradition
a
of his
moment to
former
compose your
presidents,
thoughts.
Yeah.
of the past presidents.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, somebody hooked up?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
But don't feel intimidated. Take your time. If something comes to mind, let's do it.
at the recent, you're not taking now. Or you,
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Actually
Well,
is
you could
recording.
cut out that little
Well, we
piece.
can cut it
can't
out,
you?
yeah.
No, I mean just the
Say
in-between
anything
part.
you
You
want.
could
Yeah.
just
Oh, yeah.
before you send it to us. Yes.
and as we have continued 125 years in Jersey City, we had the happy gathering, Feast of Ignatius Loyola, right here at the college. It was beautiful and a happy moment to meet both Prep president and college president, each nicknamed or named Father Jim. And it was right here at the college, Father Lochran, that I kidded about our days, and he enjoyed the reminisce and said, don't forget to meet the mayor. And I went over, of course, to Brett Schindler and had a nice chat. And Father Lochran said to me, tell him about the college. And I said, he wants to tell you about how he, the mayor, appreciates the Jesuits. And it was then the mayor did commend our Jesuit faculty and the teaching of so much goodness. And he commended Father Lochran for his being a continuing successive president after Father Yanatelli, after Father Degnan, after so many more of our brilliant Jesuits who have done so much for the college. And the mayor likes to add, for Jersey City, truly a tribute in every way, he, the mayor, appreciates, as I guess Frank Hague did, the goodness of the Jesuits in this community. 125 years of brilliant, traditional, good living to a town that's coming back strongly. And Father Degnan, who's now back at the prep, is happy to be here again with us. Father Yanatelli, of happy memory. Father, our present president, so brilliantly teaching goodness, as all Jesuits do. For having had the privilege of knowing many Jesuits who have taught well here at the college, I can't overlook so many of them. The names would be very lengthy. But John Ruane, incidentally, teaching again here at the college, he knew the experience, the horror of being imprisoned by the Japanese. But he came back, thank God, alive, healthy. We were boys together in Greenville, and he knew Father Tim Coughlin well, as I did. Again, tradition, Jesuit, all the way. John Ruane, one of the younger men, but back from the Pacific, back from internment, back alive, doing well with all here at the college. We thank God for all of it. Again, let's say it, Yo Pavo, hail alma mater.
Thank you.
Wonderful, just wonderful, Father. It was just beautifully presented, beautifully. And I think Father Doyle should write a book. Don't you, Terry? He did write a book.
Peacock Preenings.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yes.
He did write a book, Bill.
And maybe a follow-up
Did
even.
we mention Father Joe Shoe?
As a matter
No,
of fact,
let's
you had.
mention Father
Go
Shue
ahead.
and even Father Ryan, perhaps.
And Father Joe
Joe Ryan. Yeah, I was
Sure,
gonna
go right
mention
on.
And
them.
of course the Dolans that sing so well.
Of course,
They do. Even on the radio.
Yeah.
health is essential. Mens sana incorpore sano, and the good health that we all pray God to keep, is not always there. Joe Shoe, brilliant Jesuit, now with God, wound up at the infirmary at Fordham. But I have to add this bit, Eileen. He gave me a peacock to add to my favorite stole. And that peacock is to go on in tradition, for already Jack Buckley, S.J., has said, Joe, I want that stole when God calls you. It will be given him, not the archives, for him to wear with vigor. Father Jack Buckley, who was our angel when we got the honorary degree. Others we mentioned. Father Joe Shoe, Father Joe Ryan, who used to walk the boulevard so regularly, now in the infirmary at Fordham, and how he used to help out whenever I would have necessary time out from St. Anne's, even a vacation, as chaplain there at the home. Terry would volunteer to pick him up, Terry Lorden, whom we've mentioned, and drive him to St. Anne's from the college. Father Joe Ryan, now in not the best of health, but they tell us well cared for, as all elderly Jesuits and those who are ill at the infirmary up on the Fordham campus. Thank God for that added addition. For the Jesuits cherish brilliance, cherish talent, but they also take care of their own with dignity up there at the infirmary at Fordham. Father Joe Shoe, of happy memory, we mentioned. Now Father Joe Ryan, we hope in reasonably good health. So many more who have had that experience, and we thank God they are remembered as teachers. They are remembered in their latter years. They are remembered forever as we pray for our living and deceased classmates, loved ones, Jesuits, who gave us the best education in the whole world. God bless. Yo, Pavo, St. Peter's.
And to the Dolans, did you want to mention the Dolans, the Dolan family? The Dolan family.
Jim and Charlie.
Oh, how can we forget the Dolan family? Father Jim here at the college and his younger brother, Charlie. Two brilliant Jesuits. Charlie was prep and then college with us for a year or so until he went to the Jesuits himself. And Jim, who later joined the Jesuits, and are both still doing God's work. Prep by Charlie Dolan, college by Jim, though retired, still very busy, and as he would say in his deep voice, continuing to do God's work as best I can. The Dolans, happy memory again. God bless.
Thank you, Father.
Okay.
Thank you very, very much. This has just been a
Unhook you
wonderful.
so that you don't feel that you have to do any more. You've been wonderful. And I want to give you a little bit of more. I'll get you another glass there if you need some more. Can I get you another glass? There you go. Okay, I just want to stop tape.
It was positive. Wasn't this terrific? It's going to
This was
be.
great.
That's a hard act to follow. I don't think you're going to have it. You're terrific.
You were wonderful, and
Terrific.
Blessed
Just
Mother
terrific.
Blessed
Terrific.
Mother answered our
Welcome, Father Joseph Michael Doyle, one of our most esteemed alums and loyal members of our Alumni Association. We're delighted to have you with us, Father Doyle, to share with us some beautiful memories of your alma mater, St. Peter's College. Father, we look forward to hearing many interesting things about St. Peter's and listening to some of the interesting writings that you have done in Peacock Preenings. Thank you again for being with us. I'm particularly pleased to be able to conduct the interview with you today because you have a special place in my heart as the priest who married my mom and dad many, many years ago. Thank you, Father. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
God bless, Eileen.
That's it.
Good. Let's have him now hold up the book and zoom in on
Okay,
Okay.
let me get out of the way. And Father, if you would, we want to get this out of here. I don't want, do you mind if I do,
he's got that
in a certain spot though?
Good.
Oh, just hold the whole thing straight
Oh,
up. And then we'll
we knew that was going to happen, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Actually, we're going to hook you up again, aren't
say
we?
that you were fond of Eileen personally.
Oh, but he said that later in the,
Yeah,
he did
that we
say
heard
that in
that
the other.
once.
No, this is fine. I just wanted to, great. But this is, I'm so glad you had the book.
Okay, now, if we could just
Yeah,
hold
you
this
wanna-
up, all I wanted to do was to let them take a picture.
Oh, that's.
No, no, no. One thing we don't want to do, I don't want to cover up your name.
Maybe
Did
we
you get a
fold
shot of that?
paper under. Let me, Bill, let me just, is that, no, that's okay. It's like a marker.
Yeah,
That looks
it,
nice.
li-
It's
it looks
natural.
nice. It's natural
Oh, it
looking.
looks
Leave it
lovely.
alone, Father.
Oh, I like that.
And
Oh, that looks very nice.
Dancing a
yeah,
little
that
bit.
looks that. These look
Hold it
nice.
straight up, like that. Leave it. Eileen said to leave the paper stick.
Yeah, it
It's
looks fine with the
natural
paper.
looking.
Looks like you've been reading
Like
it.
you've
and
been reading
browsing
it.
through it. Make sure his name shows, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we're going to do. Parents a little bit.
I want the name to
You have to be
show.
careful of
Well,
that,
gee,
Okay, I want to
the-
see Doyle.
what do you call that, the glare.
Yeah.
You have to be careful.
All right, that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
But this, all right, see, I wanted to miss the chair there, so you're going to go around like that.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Now, let me just do that one more time after I go lower the game. You do have too much glare on that.
Did it look okay? Good. Oh, thank you, Terry.
Okay, come on in.
All right.
And then focus up and zoom out.
Okay. Focus up and zoom out.
Zoom out.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, you want to go for a roll? Or is that it?
I think that should do it for that.
Okay.
I'm going to stop tape and we'll set him up and center him.
Okay.
This is just a picture.
Yeah, it's just a picture. Yeah, you're done. I mean, relax.
Covered a lot last time.
Okay, whenever you're ready, go.
Okay, go ahead, Father. Go ahead, Father.
And so we add a few addenda to this very interesting history of the college, with joy again to mention so many memories. Fratres five, yes, we were like five brothers who did so much together and shared so very much through college years. First of all, Peter Macdonald. Peter, of course, went from good old Jersey City to finish college at Fordham. He is Fordham class of 34. Then three of us right here at Alma Mater, St. Peter's. First of all, Bill Ronbeck, then Bill Judkins, and myself, class of 34, and finally Philip O'Farrell, later a priest of God in Bridgeport Diocese, class of 35. And he was happily accepted by Bishop Walter Curtis for that diocese in Bridgeport, of happy memory. And so we continue thoughts again of Alma Mater. I can't but remember forever Father Gannon's beautiful homily at my first Mass, 1940, St. Paul's, Greenville, when the old pastor, Monsignor Monahan, quietly said at the end, "Oh, it must have been beautiful. I didn't hear too much of it, but I know it was Jesuitical in every way." My first Mass, the homily by Father Robert I. Gannon, so dear to all of us here at the college. And then we must switch from the college itself, as such, to a very dedicated friend of the college. Terry Lorden, we mention again, Terry from the nearby parish of St. Aidan's, where we had our Mass for the 125th anniversary. Terry did so much of God's work as a parishioner of St. Aidan's. She was a sodalist here at the college, and she was truly a help in my recovery from surgery. And we cannot forget, she was given a very special award by Archbishop Garrity for her many charitable works here in town, helping nuns, priests, brothers, and Caldwell College, and also here at the college itself. We thank Terry forever for her kindness, her goodness, her dedication as a young Christian woman. And now we get to my final bit, which is with a joyful remembrance.
Caritas Award and Teresians.
I forgot. Terry was given the Caritas Award for her charitable deeds, given by, I thought I said it, Archbishop Garrity at the cathedral in Newark. A joyous day, a true reward for kindness, goodness to so many. And again, to mention my final And I thought I said she was a Teresian as well, here at the college. That I have covered it twice. It's worth the repetition reference. And now we come to my final bit, an effort at poetry, my peacock preenings. And I first of all turn to the very beginning, and we have mid other cartoons which I've worked into the book. These quotes, the peacock preenings, a foreword by Father Victor Yanatelli of the college, fond memories as a president and a dear friend, and the dedication to Father Robert I. Gannon himself and other teachers who gave us so much of what life is about. And I do quote a few of the couplets as we read through this volume, which is a fond effort at poetry. And here it is. Forever in search of Christian endeavors, guided by dedicated sons of Loyola, Jesuit teachers who gave us so much of life and future planning for a better world. A few more of the quotes that we have here, and such as fond memories of boulevard walks, Sunday with vigor to meet lovely co-eds from various schools, to share with each other, reminisce and fond memories that I quote again from the various pages. But most of all, I wish to quote one of my favorite poems, for this includes memories of the college and other brief poems. And this, with love, I call it simply Mother Memories. Quoting directly, fond memories of ours of Mother, cheek days not dressed so sublime, for they were given to work hard round about evening time. Such were great memories of Mother. They sought not to enchant or astound, but gave their precious hours at supper time round about Angelus time. And then blue duds carefully made of gingham were fond gob en route to Mass. Remember our getting each morning included getting to class. And then, lest we forget our mothers, how greatly they enchant and astound, not with dinners and gowns, not with an effort so profound. Such memories of ours of Mother, a saga of great deeds behold, a story of beautiful efforts that now in heaven angelic choirs unfold. Peacock preenings with happy memory and effort to recall so much of life, so much of our Jesuit training, so much of growing up to become, as I eventually did, a priest of God, thankful forever for my early Dominican training, Dominican Newburgh nuns, and then alma mater, St. Peter's, for 57 years. As Father Gannon had said to me, take our spirit to the Archdiocese. I have, with God's help and close care to what we were taught in the seminary. Yo Pavo, God bless, alma mater, forever, St. Peter's.
That was beautiful. Excellent.
Thank you. Very good.
Wonderful.
I'm still rolling. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot a little bit, some more of the close-ups, because you said you had some sketchings in here, and we're going to add a couple of those to it. Oh, yes, I like that. All right. You can watch us at work. I'll let you be. I'll take you out of that so you can get yourself up if you'd like to be. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an easel right here, and I'm going to shoot this for you. If I could help you down, you can watch. We're just going to take a couple of shots of it. I just wanted to bring you down over here, if I might.
You want me?
Wherever you'd be comfortable. I just going to move you down there and let you sit and watch for a minute. We're going to take a couple of shots of your book because we hadn't had a chance to do that beforehand. And there's still enough tape up, so let's put it on. All right, get back there. And what we'll do is we'll shoot a couple of tighter shots of that. So that. I'm going to go adjust. I'm going to go adjust the level of that first.
I like that peacock blue.
Yeah.
This was done, gee, I should mention, Bertie Cicciarelli,
Oh, wow.
the printer. He did this.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. I like that poem you did. Reminded me of my own mom. It's been 4 years now since I lost her.
Now,
Ho ho.
ho ho.
How do you like that peacock?
Oh, I love it.
Beautiful.
Did you draw that, Father?
Oh, yeah. No, I had to be honest. I grabbed that from someplace and
That's a
said,
beautiful one.
that has to go in there.
That is a beautiful one.
All right. Let's see what else we have here. All right. Now, what I want to do is I want you to come your camera forward
Okay.
and get right up on top of this.
Okay.
And get the tightest shot that you can around there. And we'll have it. You got a shot of that?
Yep.
Oh ho.
It's just perfect. I don't even hardly have to adjust. It's perfect. Now we should go back a little bit. There we go.
I like that one.
That's great.
I really want to know if that torch came from NYU
That's
or
very
Olympic
nice.
Film Service, one or
Looks
the
like
other.
Olympic film. That is really
on up. There we go.
There you go. And that's a peacock.
Jim Pegalotti will like remembering some of this too.
Okay.
Ho ho.
There you go. There's a happy man.
And let me say,
Got it. Ooh. Sit back on that.
Oh, I like that one. Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's very nice.
well, I tell you what, we're not getting a good straight there. I think a straight would be good for that one. Focus yourself up on that.
What's that one?
It's the strolling Victrola.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, basketball.
Yo, basketball. Well, I suppose we could have a diploma into the middle of this. Now, I take it this was done on the anniversary celebration.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a special. Were there many other who did it at the same time, or were you the only one who had done a book on it? Do you remember?
I think I was the only one.
Okay.
Yeah.
A unique distinction and honor. We're going to ask the archivist if he has a copy of it next.
Yes, I'm sure there's a copy.
Very nice.
This is the. This is from the centennial year. This is Father Doyle's actual book of poetry that was done during the centennial year. But I just